He's discussing life's trivial topics and insignificant issues. And TK, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Just want to let everybody know this is episode 6, but I'm doing well, Martin. I can't complain too much. I'm back in the office as I mentioned before last week.
Ghetto.
Today, yeah, it's so ghetto because today was the first day. Like initially, the first 2 weeks, it was like, all right, it was a change. Today was the first day where I found myself on the phone a lot, like just scrolling my timeline, and I was like, yeah, I don't miss this at all. This wasn't it. So.
See, that's
Besides being
interesting because
bored
when
all
you
day.
said initially on the phone, I thought you meant like actually having phone calls and
Oh no,
conversations.
no,
No,
no.
you meant killing time on your phone.
Yeah, yeah. Scrolling the timeline. No, in my career field, I specialize in emails. And if I do get a phone call, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm likely to hit ignore and say, send me an email. Today, somebody called my phone, from an outside company, called my phone. I definitely ignored the lady and sent her an email and said, hey, I saw your call. Because we have no reason to
Why
talk
would
on the phone.
why would you not just have the phone call and get it over with?
Because most times I don't need to get into my job too much, but most times it's because they're asking, hey, why aren't you spending this money with me? Or, where's the advertising going, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't really have an answer for you. It's easier to just tell you, sorry, you didn't make the cut via email versus on the phone. That's pretty much why.
Oh, so you just don't like delivering people bad news. That's the problem. Understood.
Kind of. Yeah, kind of. A little bit.
Understood. So it wasn't necessarily bad news because I don't necessarily take things like this as bad, right? Especially as I get older. I think getting older is a blessing, right?
Yeah, of course.
I know several people who are not here anymore who would like to be as old as I am, I'm sure, right?
Of course.
But every so often you get a reminder that damn, I've been on Earth for like 31 years. I've been here for a while now. And as you were saying, scrolling the timeline, I was on Twitter and saw a tweet. It said, when did you know that you were washed? Okay. And it just, I had a moment. And I think I have a real delineation line of when I knew that I personally was washed. Because at 31,
delineation.
I do. I have a moment in which I knew I was washed. And there's a country song, TK, that I like that I think encapsulates this idea perfectly. It's by Toby Keith, and it's called
Delineation. Encapsulates. Martin has play today with the words, boy. Okay, keep
going. I watched 2 episodes. I watched 2 episodes of Jeopardy before we started. You can tell I'm on a good mode.
I see where you at. Yeah.
But the song is called "I'm Not As Good As I Once Was." And one of the lines in the chorus is, I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I used to be able to do Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then again on Friday and still be a functional member of society, I now can do about once a quarter, right?
Yeah.
Now, my body slowed down before I feel like everything else did. But when I saw kids on the internets and out and about in public saying no cap, and I said, I have no idea what this means. It was at that moment I realized that I was washed. Then I would be hearing so after no cap, like so like other words that have come out since no cap, like Zaza. If I don't know it, I'm not gonna know it. I'm an adult. Yeah. I'm not supposed to know necessarily what Zaza means inherently, the way that I used to inherently know what certain, now I can't even think of anything. Well, what certain words meant.
Swag.
Yeah, I used to just know it.
A peak word for us, yeah.
If you ask somebody who is in their 40s or 50s what swag is, they're going to tell you it's free things given out at a business event, right?
Yeah.
Free gifts, swag, right? That's swag. You can go to Outback Steakhouse, right? And they might give you the bloomin' onion take-home recipe for a swag gift, right? But for me and you, swag is what kids would now call drip.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. Where did that come from? What is drip? I didn't know what drip was. You know, when I was a kid, you would think drip would be the kid who had the towel tucked in his belt loop during the summertime. That would be the dripper.
Literal drip.
Literal drip.
Okay.
So I ask you, TK, was there a moment in time that you realized, you know what I'm saying, like where you were like, you know what, not only I give up, because I think that's really what washed is. You give up, right?
Well, it's acceptance. It's acceptance. It's not necessarily throwing in the towel because, like, you know, like you said, I may not be able to party and hang, you know, Thursday through Sunday nowadays. You know, it used to be Thursday is the kickoff, Friday is going, Saturday is the peak, Sunday fun day. You know, now, no. So I may not be able to hang all 4 days, but I can give you a solid 1.5. Sunday fun day may just be Sunday fun. You know, it's not an all day thing. It's just gonna be brunch on Sunday to recover. But so it's not the quit. It's just accepting. Hey, slow down there, buddy. So
and you know what, TK, to your point though, that's absolutely correct because because you remember these days when you were 22, 23, 24, 25, going out going to the club, places with the lights off and loud music. And you would look around and you'd see that guy with his shirt tucked in and his web belt and like his, you know, he's got his button down on. And it's like, dude, you are 20 years older than everybody here.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing here, bro? You're here by yourself. But like that guy washed. I think you nailed it. Acceptance of where you are in life.
Yeah, because I don't go to the club.
Truly what it is.
I
got no business there.
None. Zero, zilch, nada. I don't have not a thing for you. It wasn't so. Besides partying, of course, I could say I never got hangovers in the past. Then now, if I drink too much, I wake up and, you know, I got a little headache or something like that. And when I say too much, I mean like I had like 4 or 5 shots as opposed to a shot and some seltzer. You know, I could say when I accepted that seltzers were the best alcoholic beverage going for me, that would be an indication of wash. But
in cycle.
But like it was a couple instances, bro. So one I could say is when a young boy called me Unc or OG. Ooh. I was like, woo. I said, oh no, there's no way that I'm at that level, bro. Because I'm still calling people Unc or OG. You feel me? Even though I know that, like, you know, it's a circle. You'll always have an OG, you know, that you know, that you referencing. But when you hear it for the first time, like, yeah, what's up, Unc? What you got going on, OG? Come on, man. That was definitely an indication. I remember playing basketball on the physical aspect of things. Playing basketball, this is probably 5 years ago now. I turned my ankle really bad. Bro, it still hurts me every morning. To the day, dog. To the day. Like 5 years later, I still have that aching injury. That was a moment where I said, okay, competition, sports, and things like may not really be my thing anymore. So those would definitely be 2 moments where I had to accept and realize that, hey, man, you're probably out the game a bit, you know? Like, I could keep up with the slang, though, because I listen to a lot of rap. I can put the 2 and 2 together. I know what cap is, but you would not hear me saying no cap.
But so the thing was, it's like, in context, I understood it, but I was like, where did this originate? Where did this come from? When did this start? No, that's really what it boils down to. Like, I don't know the origins of anything anymore. I used to be able to tell you, oh, hey, you know, that was back when. Now it all comes from a TikTok video or something. I have no idea. You know, like when did a dub change from a win to a loss?
Yo, I am so glad that you said. Yo, I really am so confused about that because they're like, yeah, that's a dub, and I'm like, a dud. Because like a dud makes sense. I've heard a dud being, you know, something that you took an L on, but a dub is a double U, a win. So yeah, I don't know where that comes
right. Like that's a dub is just and then because I only understood it because of my, you know, understanding of English vernacular. Boom, third one in a row. No, I'm just playing. No,
yeah, boys is on the vocabulary mission today, dog. He came in Yeah, shout out. Matter of fact, shout out to the young black girl that won the national spelling bee. We never mentioned that at all. We don't really do gossip here. That's not really gossip. That's really what's up, especially as a man that has a daughter. I just want to say shout out to her. She probably won't ever.
Miss Avant-Garde from Harvey, Louisiana. You might know where Harvey,
and
Louisiana
she can
is.
hoop
From the West Bank.
Yeah.
That's you know, if you're familiar with New Orleans, it's like the West Bank. Oh, cool. That's what's up. The word that got me out, I remember this. Not ninth grade. I fifth grade, Mandeville, Louisiana. I'm second floor classroom, first one on the right. I remember this like it was yesterday. The word was Erie. Use it in a sentence. Okay, Erie. The Great Lakes are like Ontario, Huron, whatever. That was the sentence. So it was that Lake Erie. I spelled the Erie like scary, and I got it wrong. And I was like, this just feels unfair. Like why? Why?
Because you felt like, well, I'm really right, but it's like,
yeah, like
I did an extra.
But you know what though? Spelling was never my ministry. But back to like, you know, talking about being as good as you were once as you ever was, right? Well, 2 weekends ago, I was out till like 5 o'clock in the morning, right?
Never.
Almost saw the sun come up, right? Now, see, this is something that you'll probably see, TK, in your life. If you're out till 5 o'clock in the morning, you've either had a drastic lifestyle change or something's gone terribly wrong, right? Being as you're a married man with a child.
Yeah, my daughter is deciding to, you know,
something dramatically wrong. Exactly.
For sure.
So for me, I was just doing I don't know what the kids call it these days, but back in 2012, we would call it dangling. I was just out dangling, right? Just moving from place to place, having a good old time. Meet a girl. Okay. Start talking to her. She tells me she's a pescatarian. She only eats seafood. All right. So I'm thinking, you know, I was born for this moment. Okay. This girl doesn't eat meat. I understand that. I don't say most, but a lot of guys are like, babe, you don't eat meat. Oh my God, what do you eat? I'm from New Orleans. I was raised on seafood as a staple, seafood as a thing that you can eat as the main entree, right? So this is not something that's foreign to me as it would be to, you know, a few people in Michigan were surprised that I was so, adept that I tried all these different types of seafood just because the scarcity of it, right? This is just not there. Like people in New Orleans eat oysters with regularity. People in Michigan are like, you're not going to eat an oyster. Look at that. It's just familiarity. That's all it is.
People in Michigan do believe, or people outside of Michigan do believe, oh, you got so many Great Lakes, you should have seafood. And it's like, no, we eat coney dogs, bro. But anyway, keep going.
In any event, I'm thinking, okay, cool. For some people where this would be an away game, I have home court advantage, right? I can master the seafood options, bro. Let me ask you something, man.
And is this 5 in the morning?
No. This conversation is occurring at around 5 in the morning. But
okay, but you're not looking.
The scenario in which I'm going to tell you. Nah, man, I'm not looking for much of anything.
I don't think I'll find that. Okay, gotcha.
I tell you, talking about 2012. Back in 2012, when you boys pushing about 260, I might have been looking for a little shrimp etouffee around 4:30 a.m. But these days, in the sub 200s, I'm looking for a nice bottle of water, baby. You know what I'm saying? And that's about it.
Hey.
At the most, a salad. So we end up going to this restaurant called Sugarfish sometime down the line, right? And it's, look it up. It's like one of the nicer. In fact, I was on the phone with somebody on the way to Sugarfish, and I was like, oh, I got cut off in traffic or something. So I'm like, the bastards are getting me down. And he was like, where you headed? Sugarfish. Oh, that's a pro move. That's a pro move. I'm like, okay. All right, cool. Man, so I'm like, tell me what to get. Because if you ask me, do I eat sushi? I have to say yes. However, I eat sushi like a Midwesterner. Okay. I'm not eating all this raw, like whoa. You mean to tell me that all these ways to cook fish, you want to cook it raw?
You want to not cook it. Right.
Exactly. You got all these ways to cook fish, you just opt out. Or you decide I'm good.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, you know what? I'm talking all this cash, cash stuff, 5 o'clock in the morning a couple days ago about how like, nah, I'm not. I'll eat anything. I'll try anything. Here we go. Get there, and like they have on the menu. This is how you know. I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I was in a bad spot already. The
Okay.
menus,
Okay.
okay, because like I'm like, all right, let me get a shrimp tempura, crab tempura, and a cucumber. Bam, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? 12 to 15 rolls. I'm in and out of there. I'm gonna be full, and I know everything I'm doing. Sugarfish has like they have all this stuff you can order on the side, but like in big bold print on the menu, they got the Trust Me box, like the Trust Me Deluxe, whatever, and like the Trust Me, like the big bad, the whole bad boy, right? So she's like, you have to get the Trust Me. Just trust me. I shouldn't have trusted her.
Okay. What's
Shouldn't have
with the
trusted
trust
her.
me?
Bro, it had like, and don't get me wrong, like it was good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like the flavor was good on most of it, but bro, it was sashimi, and it was, and people who like sushi are gonna be over here like, what's wrong with you? But it was like sashimi. Come on, run it down. Sashimi. One was a yellow fish. One was
Yeah.
albacore, salmon. One was this thing called toro, which I actually liked. But at the end of the day, it was just raw fish after raw fish after raw fish. And I asked you, TK,
Yeah.
have you ever been to a real sushi restaurant? Because I've
Nope.
eaten sushi before, but like I feel what I realized was it's like going to McDonald's and be like, I've eaten burgers before, and then you go to a burger
Yeah.
joint, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is next
Yeah.
level. And, and,
Yeah.
and, and I wasn't ready for the next level.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that like I'm like you, bro. The majority of the sushi that I've had is like Americanized, like I've had sushi, but I'm new to sushi in my defense, right? So I was never really into sushi. What's crazy is the first dinner, I guess, that I went out with my wife, my now wife, and her parents. At that time, she was just a girl that I was dating, and I met her parents maybe, I don't know, the weekend before or something like that. They're like, "Hey, yo, we're gonna go get some sushi. You want to come?" I didn't have any of it like when we went because I was not into sushi, and now I actually enjoy sushi. I can eat the raw sushi, but you showed me a picture that I have not gotten to the level of
See,
eating
that's what
that.
I'm saying. You said you could
Yeah,
eat the raw sushi. I used to think the same.
right, right.
I used to
Yeah,
think the same. Going
yeah,
and like get like because I feel like this. I feel like the Trust Me box was a good representation of different types. Right. It was very much, and it was kind of cool too. Like they would bring you like 2 pieces and 4 pieces at a time, and they would waiter would come, and so I was like having conversations like, what's this? What's that?
okay. I mean,
But
it sound. I would be interested in it though. I will say that. Like, so would you go back?
I told her this is we won't be here for a long time. I told her like, yeah, and I know this at the price of the Trust Me box. Trust this, I ain't getting it. I'm sticking to the. I'm gonna go ahead and get me a little shrimp tempura, a little crab tempura, and cucumber roll. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that I'm used to, because as soon as I started getting to trusting folk, I got burnt.
I'm digging in my trust fund.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, but sushi as a whole is typically, a little bit more expensive. That's why it's like you compared it to McDonald's. It's like, yeah, but I feel where you was going though. That's why I said it's Americanized. Like there's a difference between Kona Grill and where you went. Do you know what Kona Grill is? I don't know if they have Kona Grill nationwide.
I've never been to the Kona Grill, but I'm
But
familiar
you're
with the
familiar.
location on
Okay,
South
so you get
in
the
Southfield or Northwestern Highway.
oh, no clue. Kona, in a nutshell, is like, yeah, like the Fridays of sushi, you know? Like, now I don't like Kona. Kona is not for me, but I like this one place called Raw Sushi, which is in Dallas. It's probably other places as well. But I would think that raw sushi is like the Outback Steakhouse of sushi. Like not quite Kona, because Kona is just, it's kind of down there, but it's also not what'd you say it was called? Sugarfish. It's also not sugarfish.
Sugarfish, yeah, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like 3 stars. It's like $3 signs on Google. Like this was $100, and I left out of there. Like, what am I gonna eat?
hey yo, you know what? That brings me to a point though. I thought I was alone in this, and I wouldn't say it like out loud, so I don't feel like a brokey or sound like a brokey. But like, yo, I 100%. If I'm Googling the place, like if those dollar signs make a difference, it's like, oh, you got $3.
Of course.
Like, what am I walking into? You know what I mean? Like, I start calculating. I'm like, if that's a date night, carry the 1 at the 2. I'm looking at, you know what I mean? Like, plus drinks, I'm looking at well over $100. Whereas the $2 sign joints, not so much, So that's funny. I didn't realize that was like a common thing. So I feel much better.
Yeah, man. I mean, our bill was $100, no drinks. We got no drinks. I was like, I can't drink alcohol with this. I might not make it through.
Yeah, no,
I need all my faculties, and I need my stomach to be completely settled, because I mean, I woke up and my thing was doing flips like Simone Biles, bro. I'm like, all that crawfish and rice. I mean, we was over here doing gold medals.
It was Tokyo Olympics in it. Do you like sake
Tokyo
bombs?
Drift? Sure.
See, I like sake bombs, so I like going to the sushi restaurants for that too. The vibe typically is pretty cool at sushi spots. I don't know that I'll ever get to the level of like just straight up like that thing is on the table flipping. I don't know that I'll get to that point. That's because that typically does happen. You wake up in the morning, you're like, ooh, that was not really the go-to.
Man, and I tell you what, man, the only thing that I was talking to my dad about it, I was like, the only thing that I really like could I see myself ever like ordering outright would be the salmon. And I just realized it was like it would just been so much better if they had like fried it.
Cooked it. Yeah.
So much better.
Throw it on the grill,
grill it, fry it, whatever. It was just like, man. In fact, like, could I pay a little extra and maybe get it fried, get it cooked,
throw the whole thing on there? Like it's probably another table around here that wants something too. You can ask them. Throw the whole fish on there.
I didn't put this on the list, but I have a question. Have you ever been to a Mongolian barbecue?
What kind of food is that?
That will be my uneducated guess. Would be Mongolian. I've only been twice to a Mongolian barbecue. It's essentially stir fry, right?
No,
if you've never been, you never been.
Yeah, I'm like, sounds like I don't know that I off the top of my head. No, I can't say that I have.
And you know what? I'm realizing I said Mongolian barbecue. I meant to say Korean barbecue. But the thing about Korean barbecue, okay, I meant to say Korean barbecue. The thing that I don't like, that's the biggest scam going. And it got nothing to do with the food or ever. But the idea that I'm supposed to go and cook my own food at this restaurant, what is going on here? I sat down at a Korean restaurant, a Korean barbecue, and they just had all this raw stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm paying because I thought about it. I was like, ain't no way in hell I would pay extra at Sugarfish to make them cook the food. That's what I'm going to the restaurant for. Will you please cook this? Otherwise, what did you do besides go to the grocery store?
Hey, yo, but
that's all you did at Korean barbecue.
You're right. I'm not. You're right. I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. You're 100% right. But I will say I enjoyed going to the Korean barbecue when I did, just because the experience in itself was like fire. Now, for the amount of money that you're paying for me to basically use your stove, like I'll pass. Like we can set up little Korea in the house. I'll YouTube some Korean music, play it in the background, all of that. Like because I'm literally cooking my food
and get the ambiance and then just recreate it in the kitchen.
Yeah, I do agree with you. But I have had Korean barbecue though. It was a very interesting. And the spot I went to, which I imagine most of them are like this, zero English on the menu, like zero. This was in Texas, like zero English on the menu. You know, like what do you want? Got some chicken with cheese? Like I don't know. So we had like some chicken and you dipped it in the cheese and it was good, but yeah, you're right. I mean, I could have cooked it at home and probably saved like $60 completely for sure.
I mean, I go out to eat because I don't like to cook. It's like I was so shocked and surprised when I sat down and it's just like, wait a minute. There's not somebody who's about to come over here and like hibachi this for me in front of me. Got it. This sucks.
No, it's on you. It's on you, bro. Well, speaking of doing things at home, right? I saw that on the list. You have cleaning styles and things. And when I saw this, I initially I text you. I said, you know, what is the context behind this? Like, aren't we all cleaning our house? And you're like, I can't imagine. You know, your question to me or your statement to me was basically you can cut me off if I'm paraphrasing incorrect, but your statement to me was basically, I can't stand cleaning for myself, so I can't imagine or understand how an entire family is doing so. So that I say to you, it's terrible. Go ahead. So to get that out the way, it's terrible. It is terrible.
No,
it's the worst.
So I was thinking about this because my parents, when they raised me, I feel like instilled an incredible amount of discipline in me, right? However, I am so bad at doing the things they did not make me do. You know, it's like all I had to do was clean up. Like all I had to do in terms of picking up around the house was clean up after myself, right? But like the overarching like cleaning of the house was something that was left to, you know, other people, right? Like I had to wash my dish and put it in the dishwasher, but if there was another dish, that was somebody else's responsibility. I carried my weight, everybody else, you know, that was kind of the deal, as it was. And you keep your room clean, so on and so forth. I'm pretty good at all of that, right?
It was also though you, your sister, your mom, and your dad.
Yes.
So
yes, we had a full stable of situations
of people
going
that could
on.
Carry their own weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So and a very balanced, right? 2 parents, 2 kids. So there's not like an overwhelming like 5 kids and 2 parents where it's like, no, bro, like get some of this bathroom action. You know what I'm saying? Like get some of it, you know.
Yeah.
So, but like to that point, like cleaning the bathroom, like I never cleaned the bathroom, it was just clean, right? So it's something that now I have to. So one of my things as now I'm an adult after 2020, I said I'm going to live life different coming out of this pandemic. Like there's just some things I'm not going to go back to. Like I'm not going to go back to the scruffy haircut. Like that's going to make a point to schedule a haircut and make it a thing to where I'm going and getting a haircut with frequency and regularity, right? Because you know sometimes. No, I'm not letting it happen again. The other one was I'm going to keep a clean house. And right now, I've ordered like some housekeepers in the last couple months. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do it myself this time. And this is terrible. It's absolutely horrible. I don't know how you find the 24 hours. I mean, in 24 hours of the day, clean your house, do your job, sleep, eat, and also like live. And as soon as I leave one room, the next room is dirty. Yeah, that's what. No, I don't have any kids. I don't have anything at all besides me, myself, and I. Right. Okay. And I'm like, dude. I mean, it's been miserable. I'm losing everything. I can't find anything. It's been absolutely. I can't imagine what it's like. I feel like if you're a family like yours, you just have to punt it or hire somebody to do it.
Yes. So honestly, and this is me being 1000% honest. I hope my wife doesn't like kill me for this, for being so brutally honest. A lot of times, bro, it just doesn't get done. Like, of course, the dishes in the sink get knocked out. Like, that's nasty. And of course, you know, if something spills, you clean it up. But like my man cave, for instance, right? I work in here. which means I take care of the baby in here throughout the day. And this is also my man cave. This is where I play, bro. At 6 p.m. every day, I take a look around, and it is absolutely terrible. My
And I
child
think
has
we should
pulled down.
clarify when we're talking about terrible, we mean like paper strewn everywhere, toys,
that
that type
what I
of
mean.
thing. Like
She's
that's
taking
when
all of my Funko Pops down. She's taking my mini helmets down. She's thrown my PlayStation remotes and headphones all over. And some days I pick up the little things. Other days I simply step over them. just being real.
Close the door. Like just close the door. It'll be there. It'll be there tomorrow.
Because she's gonna tear it down again. So like that's definitely the difference that I've noticed since I've had a child in this last 12 months. Is that like you gotta focus on like pretty much like the main points. It's like an outline. Like you hit the main points, and then those little A, B, C, D sections, they may or may not get hit. And if they don't, you'll get to them on Saturday or Sunday whenever your designated like real deep cleaning day is. And that's pretty much how we're operating over here. Is like, like the big things, dishes, all of that type of stuff that's like, we have to get this done. Like you can't, that's nasty. You can't be nasty. But like, man, if I wash clothes and the clothes don't get folded and put away immediately, it's okay. I will scrounge through them and find my drawers and go about my business. And I put them away on Saturday or Sunday when I don't have a full slate of things to do. But a lot of people though, with families, they end up with maids or cleaning services. And that's pretty much where we are at this point. It's like, we're just going to have somebody come once a month.
It's like, man, I spend like an hour in the kitchen on Monday. My stove is atrocious. It's Wednesday. It's just Wednesday. All I did was like a couple breakfasts, maybe some dinners. That's it. Oh, some chicken breast and broccoli. I can't even cook for real. So all I did was throw it in the oven. I don't even know how the top of the oven gets dirty if I put something in the bottom of it. Make it make sense.
Yeah. Yo, well, back to the washed comment though, like in the beginning of the podcast, like we do one heavy task. Like recently I cleaned the fridge, and like I don't mean like I went through and threw things away. I mean like I pulled out the drawers,
scrubbed the fridge.
I scrubbed the fridge, bro. That was the only thing I did that day, because by the time I was done with it, I'm like, I'm done. I don't have any more energy for anything else. I've literally washed the fridge from top to bottom, like just little things. I'm done. The kitchen's good. You look around the house and you're just like, I don't have the, Roomba. Roomba saves me.
I have a Roomba. I do. But so here's the thing. But so like, and you probably don't have this as nearly as much as I do, just because of your family status and my lack of family status. I've always kind of wanted to keep my house like always ready to have guests, because especially like you were talking about earlier, Sunday fun day, maybe just be brunch. Well, that doesn't mean necessarily I don't want to stop hanging out. It just means I want to go inside and sit down. My knees hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's always best when you can just walk in and be like, and you've never been to my apartment here, but I have a decent like entertainment little setup, not to brag or anything like that. I got a Sonos as a gift. So I have a decent entertainment setup. So I'd be like, oh, let's go and, watch the game or watch a movie or, put on YouTube music videos and generally just talk and have a good time. So I'm trying to get it to where I didn't have to feel like I had to race home. And because it's not like it's dirty in here, but like there's a CVS bag on the table. Who needs that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't need to know. They don't need to know I went to the pharmacy yesterday.
Right. I mean, overall,
as I tell everyone who listens to this,
that you went to the pharmacy. Overall, though, I think what it comes down to is simply picking up after yourself and putting away the things as you need, so that when it does come time to like really clean or whatever, you don't have as much, because a lot of the cleaning is just BS. It's like, all right, I just have to pick this up and put this here, as opposed to I gotta pick this and this.
Just
and
moving
this and
one
this
thing
and
to the other side of the room. That's it.
Yeah. Honestly, it's made. Cleaning service is the key when it comes to like families, especially if everybody's working. Now, if I had a great job and I was blessed enough to have my wife stay at home, or vice versa, if she wanted to make me the house dad, then that's another thing, because then it's like, hey bro, you're not working, like, come on. Like,
well, the inherent trade-off is I make enough money to finance this thing. You got to kind of take care of it.
Yeah,
right.
But
That's the when you have a breadwinning partner, right? When you have a breadwinning partner in your relationship as such. So, man, this is just an aside. I just really hope my sister gets cast in something so I can be her rich older brother. That'd be so dope.
Hey, for real.
That'd be so dope. My sister,
like
those don't know, is an actress. Oh yeah.
Kardashian's brother or whatever. We don't know anything about him, but I guarantee he doesn't have a job.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I can't wait for it to happen. Like if I become nothing in my career and she becomes everything, I'm so good with it. Right? So good with it. So good.
That brings me to like this like argument that we're not gonna have, and that everybody always has, which is like, if you're a man, you should be taking care of this many bills, blah blah blah. Let me tell you out loud and on the pod and in front of everybody, bro, listen. If my wife becomes this super successful, whatever she wants to be, I will gladly be the stay-at-home house dad guy. 100%. My pride is not going to get in the way of her success. Like Tabitha Brown, we're not going to go down that path. But Tabitha Brown's husband, if you're familiar with her, was a cop and he quit because she's now doing extremely well and blah, blah, blah. Bro, I'm not going to knock him for that. I'm not going to knock him for that at all. And I'm not trying to sound like a bum, but like, bro.
Well,
life happens, you know?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that's actually kind of interesting because, all right, so I saw this thread on Twitter kind of related to this, and it was along the lines of, apparently, I can't remember the exact year. I think it was 1974. 1974, I believe, was the first year that women could open bank accounts without being married or without having to have their husband's permission. Maybe 1978.
That is crazy. That's a
crazy. So in whichever year it was, 2 years later, divorces like quadrupled, right?
Oh, for sure.
And it's basically the idea that, I don't know, present company notwithstanding, maybe present company standing, who knows? But it's basically the idea that our grandmothers were not necessarily happy in their relationships, but this is just what it was supposed to be, right? Like, this is what a man's supposed to do. Man's supposed to provide. Man's supposed to do this. Man's supposed to do that. And it wasn't necessarily making excuses for the current generation, but they say that men have been kind of pumped into men's heads now. And here's the thing. A lot of women, most women that I know personally, at least, are doing mighty fine by them damn self. They don't need a man to necessarily provide financially for themselves, right? That's not something that is, and the artificial barriers like not being able to open your own bank account are no longer, or some of them rather, are no longer in place, right? So then as a man, your intrinsic value prior to this period in time, by the kind of the thought process of this tweet thread, your intrinsic value is being able to provide money. And money is what? Financial stability. You buy a house, you able to put your kids to school, all of those things. All of that is provided with the money, right? Well, guess what? If your wife makes more money than you, and so then and now, like, she can she's putting your kids through school more than you are. She's taking care of the bills more than you are. What are you providing as a man to your partner besides that financial burden? And they say that's why so many, that's kind of the disconnect in where and again, of course, this is on Twitter, so this is not one of these things that's a holistic idea. But I thought it was, but I did think it was interesting. I did think it was interesting because it's like, the idea of prior to these relationships, the way the family was built, maybe you weren't necessarily happy, but you had somebody that was making bread. You were safe. You had a house under your head. You know what I'm saying? Now you can do all that yourself. So as a man, at least for me as a single man, I think, what am I providing in these positions? Because hell, I would be fine with trust me, I would love to date a woman who would catapult me into a new financial stratosphere.
Yeah. So is that a question?
Well, it's just kind of a thought process. It's like, or just maybe, for the guys listening, it's like, you didn't have bread. Like, what do you provide to your partner besides money and finding the things that money, like, you know what I mean?
I feel like each relationship is different in that discussion. Like you could say protection, but what if she's bigger than you? You know what I'm saying? So that may not apply. But like I think what it comes down to is I pose the same question on the opposite end, because I don't want a bum woman. So like, but let's say I'm bringing in, LeBron James money and she ain't doing nothing. Like, what is she doing for me? Well, she's going to be covering in other areas of life that I can't provide for myself financially. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be emotional support, mental support, simply being my friend and being my partner. Like it's certain intangibles that don't, at least in my opinion, that you can't put money on. You can't put a value on. It's something that they're bringing to the table that has nothing to do with actual, physical things that you could touch. Like I'm your friend. I would say that we are really good friends. You don't do anything for me that progresses me financially, or like, sure, we're not gonna get into but you get where I'm going though. Like sure. You and I have a relationship simply because we value each other's friendship and each other as a person. So I think when it comes to relationships, that type of relationship, if that person isn't bringing finances to the table, if you're still with them and you love them, they are, I would assume, bringing other intangibles that you can't get somewhere else, or you can't attain yourself, through finances.
I just think it was something interesting to think about. But as you said just now, bringing in LeBron type money, right? Well, one of LeBron's partners, right, wasn't happy with what was going on, Kyrie Irving, and he left. And Kyrie Irving, after leaving Cleveland, debuted one of his more famous conspiracy theories, saying that he believes that the Earth is flat. I am of the belief that Kyrie does not believe that the Earth is flat.
Okay.
I think that Kyrie was trolling the media, which I don't inherently have a big problem with. I think it's kind of funny.
He does it often,
right?
Yeah, he does it often.
Yeah, I don't have a super big problem with it. Like it's kind of, it's all done in jest and all in fun. But the anniversary of the moon landing that Kyrie never said never happened was actually yesterday, I believe. Mm-hmm. Is it July 20th or June 20th?
Yeah, the 20th.
Either way.
21st. Yeah, it was yesterday.
So this is 21st. So this also coincides with last night I watched this movie called Stowaway on Netflix. Side note, we should do movie reviews.
Yeah, with the black guy. It was a black guy that was the stowaway, right? I didn't see it yet.
There was a black guy. He was the stowaway, yes.
Got it.
But it all just kind of bled into it. I won't ruin it for you. Spoiler alert, he stowed on the ship, and it's not on purpose.
Right. That's literally in the trailer, but go ahead.
But it just made me think. And you got all these rich people going to space and so on and so forth. Jeff
Bezos just came back and thanked everybody that apparently he thanked me because I shop on Amazon. But okay.
We'll get to that in a couple minutes. But
he is a villain, bro.
But I don't understand why in the world anybody would want to go to space. Any space movie, there's either a stowaway, the carbon dioxide thing falls out, the oxygen thing breaks. Invariably, you're going to have to get the suit on and go outside of the ship to fix something that they didn't on the ground plan for. Did you be able to press a button inside? And so like,
or there's aliens.
But the longer and older I get, and the more space movies that I watch, and the less time that people spend in space as I spend as an adult, I'm beginning to seriously question the lunar landing.
Really?
I'm not gonna go out and say that we didn't land on the moon. However, if someone is going to provide me with overwhelming evidence to say that we did not, I can't necessarily. Now, your evidence has to be plausible and believable. But
sure.
I'm not necessarily willing to rule it out. Not necessarily willing to rule it out. Because why we ain't been there? Why we ain't been back?
I Googled this. Yes, like yesterday or 2 days ago, I Googled this because I was really wondering, like, how many times have we been, quote unquote? When's the last time we went, and why haven't we been back? And I'm with you. On previous podcasts, if people are sticking around, I have joked around and kind of trolled listeners as well, saying that the Earth may be flat, like we don't know. And I kind of stick by that. I don't think the Earth is flat. I think it's way too many people out there that have said the Earth is not flat to say that the Earth is flat. So I'm not going to go out on that limb, but I will stick with the idea that, like, I haven't seen that shit for myself. So I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't been up there. So, like, I mean, it could be, could not be. I believe it's round because that's what everybody says. But, like, if you believe it's flat and you've gone down this YouTube rabbit hole, best of luck, pal. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as the moon is concerned, though, and landing on the moon, I'm with you. I'm not going to necessarily say we didn't go to the moon, but I'm just like, we went to the moon. What was it? Was it 69?
Went to the moon in 1969.
Yeah, and then the last time that we went to the moon and put a satellite or whatever, the little robot up there was like maybe like 72 that they said. Now, they say that it wasn't due to technology that we haven't been back there. Obviously, we have technology beyond. I mean, you are across the country right now, and I am looking dead at you, right? Mm-hmm. So the technology is clearly there, but they say it's money, and that's why it's money and political things, which I call BS.
Well, I guess they don't want to go. I mean, we already put an American flag on it, which is the most American thing to do. Honestly, we get to a new land. What do we do? It's ours, suckers.
You're on a whole nother planet. Like, not a country. Like, it's bad enough that we go to other countries and we stick American flags places and we're like, yeah, America, we're taking over. Come join us. But another planet, bro. Planet.
Well, the moon is not. The moon is not technically a planet. Do you know what the moon is technically?
A moon?
No. Well, yes, obviously. But what orbital, I don't know, term is used to define the moon?
I have no clue. What is it?
It is a satellite. The moon is a satellite.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
Because it rotates in orbit.
Just around. Like they took Pluto off the list of planets. Now Pluto is just a.
I believe Pluto is one of Neptune's moons. Yeah. Which, I'm not gonna lie. When I was first explained this in 4th grade science, I did not like this. I did not like the fact that Neptune and Pluto apparently just switched places every so often. And I asked Miss Keys, if Neptune and Pluto just switch places every so often, then how is it that Pluto is not rotating Neptune in the same way that the moon is the moon is in between Earth and Mars and in between Earth and Mercury and Venus every so often, right? So like Neptune is in between. I mean, Neptune is in between. Pluto's in between Uranus and Neptune sometimes, and then it's between Neptune and whatever the hell is over there. Other times, it doesn't make any, like, to my 4th grade, this is 2 + 2 is 5. And she's just, that's the way it is. And that's when I knew that, school's a lie.
Well, a lot of things are stupid. Like, TikTok has taught me that. That one guy that made the TikTok about the clock, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna name this the minute hand, and we're gonna name this one the hour hand, and he's like, so it starts at 24. No, it's in 12 parts. Like, okay, and then 6 is gonna mean 30. Okay, and then what about that little hand? That's the second hand. Oh, okay.
No, he's like, no. What's the third? What's the third arm on that? That's the second hand.
Yeah. He's like, sound like a plan to me, bro. So yeah.
I will say it makes sense when you think about it as like a sundial, right? And that's why, like, obviously you don't need to know. You can look outside and see if it's 11 in the morning or 11 at night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
unless
I'll say this
unless you're in
though.
Alaska.
I'll say this though, as somebody who has embraced naps post 25 years old, there's a weird gray period in around the 5 o'clock hour in the wintertime where you're not sure when you wake up if you slept all day and it's now 5
Yeah,
a.m.
100%.
or if it's 5 p.m.
100%. 100%, bro. I to bring it to the moon real quick, because I also went down a rabbit hole looking at like the most recent quote unquote UFO sightings and things. I definitely do believe 100%, I will be honest, that aliens quote unquote are real. Like there's definitely some other
It's
type
too
of
logical.
life form.
It's entirely too logical.
Like what do you think? We were just the only things created? That just doesn't make sense.
Like no matter how you shape it, right? Whether you're the religious, whether you straight science. So you're telling me the Earth was the only place that had the correct,
Big Bang thing, yeah, exactly.
Right. The either the Big Bang or the correct scientific equation to sprout life, or the Earth was the only place that had a God.
Yeah,
it's just it doesn't
make sense. But I'm personally cool on space. I'm not going up there. I see no reason to. I saw that an 18-year-old was a part of this journey, and I was like, bro, at 18 years old, my goal was like to score some beer or something like that, like not to go to space. Like
when did you know you were washed? When you use the word score.
That's a fact. Hey, it stuck around though. Certain words they gonna stick around through the
but seriously, every time you go to space, something goes wrong. And if it doesn't go wrong, it's a harrowing experience in which you will have to spend years in therapy over.
Yeah.
I used to think I wanted to go to space, but now, nah, man, I'm good right here. I will say this. I still want to jump out of a perfectly fine plane though. Skydiving is on the list.
Want to go skydive? Yeah, me too. Me too. I actually do as well. I would like, that's on like my bucket list of things I would like to do before I die. And if I die that way, then there was literally like a point. I forget what the percentage is, but it's like extremely low. If that's the way that God decides to take you out, you were kind of go out. Like that was just the day that you were gonna go out.
Yeah, see, like I'm not doing it by myself. This is not a DIY deal, right? Like, I'm trying to clean my house by myself, not hiring a professional. Skydiving, I'm going to go skydiving with somebody who goes skydiving every single day.
On my back. So if I don't pull it in time, guess what he's going to do? Pull it in time. Like, get me down there. Yeah. No, I would like to do that as well, man. That's definitely something that's on my list of like, I do it one time. I don't plan on making it a thing, but I do it.
Never say I don't know. Maybe I would get into it. I just feel like it's a lot to try to do multiple times.
Yeah, I mean the cost isn't really that crazy though either. It's a few $100s really. I don't even think it's a few hundred. I think it's a couple hundred. And
so that's also one of those things that there's certain things that I don't go cheap on. Like one of the good things to say. Yeah. Don't go cheap on things that touch the ground that you buy. So if you go cheap on your cars, you end up costing you more money, like your bed, your chairs in your house, those types of things. I'm not going to go cheap on skydiving. I'm going to I will have $3 signs on my skydiving Google search for sure. Yeah. I'd be fine with that.
At least. Yo, but see, so shout out to my boy D Green. D Green. He told me this a long time ago, and this was in college. Like, he was like, "Yo, most things that cost a little bit more, it's typically worth it." And back then, when I was broke as hell, I was like, "Yeah, right. I could spend $1 on these paper towels, and I got paper towels, as opposed to $3 on these paper towels." He was right, because now I'm like, cheap dishwashing liquid, cheap paper towels, cheap toilet paper. No. I get the good things just because I have noticed. Yeah, it's usually worth the little bit extra that you're gonna pay. But skydiving, I'm damn sure not going cheap on. No,
yeah, it's all value. I definitely still get cheap dishwashing. I get my dishwashing liquid and cleaning supplies from the dollar store.
Awesome.
As I say that out loud, maybe that's part of the reason why I'm having such a trouble deep cleaning the home.
Hey,
but I do feel like it's not necessarily a utilities thing and more of a self problem.
I will tell you, if you get dollar store, uh, uh, I almost said wiper fluid, windshield, the glass cleaner, that definitely
Glass cleaner.
leaves streaks.
Yeah.
Windex does
My
not.
balcony door is in disarray right now.
Yep.
So I tackled the bedroom yesterday, and I'm trying to get the living room today. The finals are over. There's no basketball. I mean, hold on a second. Okay. The last time the Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA Finals, it was 1971, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was playing basketball for them. Okay?
Yeah.
The Kareem Abdul-Jabbar that then went on to star for the Los Angeles Lakers. That same Kareem, the one he set all the records for.
His name wasn't even Kareem.
Potentially.
I think his
yes.
name.
No. He definitely played. He played some years in Milwaukee as Lou Alcindor. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1971. You mean to tell me that 2 years before that, we figured out how to get to the moon?
Hey, for real. Yeah. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I could get.
I saw Hidden Figures. Figures, and I think Katherine Johnson is an American hero. I'm not trying to devalue any of the work that she did, but you telling me that you taking a slide rule and an abacus, and you're measuring how far the moon is?
Yeah. Like, how do you know until you get up there?
I feel like you might get, with a slide rule and abacus, you might get New York to Los Angeles wrong.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, how do you know? Like, I can look across the room right now and say, it's about 10 feet away. And boy, I could be wrong. It could be a smooth 15. Now that makes a huge difference when you're talking about leaving Earth as a whole. So, yeah.
And I'll tell you, my math grades were absolutely terrible, because you know what I would always do? I would get one thing wrong. I would get one thing wrong in the equation, and I would end up with a number that ended up completely and totally different than what I was supposed to end up with. If you get one thing wrong in these space equations, you're going to end up rotating Neptune and Pluto as opposed to being on the moon.
Well, apparently Amazon has figured it out.
Man. And that's the other thing. How can... That's like, I don't know if it's a conspiracy theory or what, but all these people who are going to the moon and going to space, like, I was going to say maybe they know something that we don't know, but I think they just know that climate change is real. But like, because they're just like, we're getting out of here. We're trying to get out of here as soon as possible. But I just question, like, would it not be best to try to like invest some of that bread back in the planet? Because if you go somewhere else, you're going to be the only people there.
Yeah, literally. Like, people aren't surviving in the middle of the rainforest. You're on a planet. I'm cool, bro. Leave me on the ground.
Bro. And then the final thing about space, I exercise with decent regularity, as do you. You know, in space, you got to exercise 2.5 hours a day, or after like 2 or 3 days, your bones don't work no more.
Oh no!
Gravity.
I didn't know that. That's
gravity
nuts,
is what helps keep your bone density together. Gravity is what helps keep your bones strong.
No, that's out of control. That's Jeff Bezos did not work out 2.5 hours a day.
He didn't go all the way to space though. He just went close enough, I guess. Or barely, maybe he just stuck the tip in.
For real. Just know Amazon Prime Moon is coming soon, I guess. I don't know, man. This is all bullshit. Whatever. Well, guys, if you want to keep up with us, make sure you follow us on everything at So Let Me Ask You This. That is a U with just a U, unlike our actual podcast, which is YOU spelled out. So on all things social, that is So Let Me Ask You This. If you have any questions that you want us to ask or pose to each other, if you'd like to tune in and ask questions, please do so. We may be going to Tuesdays. I think that's been discussed. I will announce that on socials if we do decide to do that.
And now that the finals are over, I want to do a movie review. First movie. I want to do movie reviews of movies that we saw when we were kids and see if they still hold up. First one, Remember the Titans. So class.
that.
If you'd
I'm
like to
with that.
participate, watch along. We will break it down next week. Won't be too long, but it'll be short and it'll be fun. If you want to just go back down that path. And if you have any suggestions for those, leave them in the comment section or tweet us or something like that. Any suggestions at all, really, provided that I like them. We'll follow them.
Hey, attitude reflect leadership, Captain. All right. We'll see y'all next week.